Be the one. Be the one. Three simple words. Be the one that lives a life. Be the one that writes a story that when future generations of children, when they look up into that family lineage, they say, it was her. It was him. She's the one. She's the one that changed our family's lives forever. It was her. She broke the generational curse. Abuse stopped with her. Addiction ended with him. The financial principles that set our family free, it was her. It was my great-great-great-grandma, and they're telling your story. They know who you are. They're telling your story. You gotta understand, to be the one, you came here as the one, the last 12 generations, if we took the last 12 generations of people, it was 4,094 people over the last 12 generations. Your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, 4,094 people over a span of 400 years that lived and bled and died for you to be the one. They gave everything they had. Imagine the triumphs and the struggles. They came from all over the world to create you. 4,094 people. What were the odds they could all come together? For you to sit in this room, to leave here as the one, to recognize who you really are. Last year on Memorial Day, Isaac and I jumped in the car and drove 3 hours to a grave of someone that neither of us have ever met. So 5 generations ago, there was a guy named George and Sarah Prince that lived in England. They traveled 9,000 miles to South Africa, to the Cape Town of South Africa, to get land. Queen Victoria had opened up some land plots, so they went over there to get land. The Soshu tribe, which was the warring tribe at the time, didn't like all the new Englishmen coming over, so they would battle, they would fight. My 5th generation Uncle John was killed in one of those battles. They used to hide my little 4th generation grandpa, when he was a little boy, Francis, they would hide him in the laundry. They would hide him under, because what the Soshus would do is they'd kill all the boys, because the boys would make soldiers eventually. They want to get rid of them. But if they got you, if they didn't kill you, guess what they would do? They would take you, they would strip you down naked and put you in this grease and then put you on these killer anthills, tie you down, and then break the anthills. And they would just consume people. So you didn't want to be caught. So Sarah and George eventually were like, hey, we're here to pursue freedom for our family, a better life for our family, to own land for our family. Well, one night, this is just from his journals, this is just what happened in his journals, but one night George was a farmer, he's finishing up his farm work, this is the story as his heritage tells it. He hears a voice behind him, and it says, George! And he turns like this, and he sees like an angelic figure. I'm just telling you the story as it's written in his journal. And the angelic figure says to him, George, 2 men are going to come to your home with a message of faith. And you need to listen to their message and take heed of their message, and they're going to come. That's in 1853. 2 years later, 1855, sitting on his back porch with Sarah, my 5th generation grandma, 2 men come walking up, and he says over to her, that's the 2 men from the dream that the guy told me about, the angel told me about. And they walked up, he listened to their message. Long story short, later that year, they went 9,000 miles from South Africa to Massachusetts. So they're on the last wagon train west across the plains. They had 5 children. Sarah brought her 5 kids, and she was pregnant with twins. She had the 2 twins. She delivered them in the wagon train. They both died shortly after birth. They buried them with hand-dug graves across the wagon train. They got to Salt Lake City, Utah, where I'm from, and she never physically or emotionally recovered. And so she died. Here's George. His brother died in this travel, his wife died, and his 2 babies died. He then travels down to southern Utah where I live. So Isaac and I went and visited his grave. And we get there, and Isaac kneels down. He's praying at this guy's grave. He's basically kneeling down at this guy's grave. It's Isaac's 6th generation ago grandpa, great-grandpa. And when he's done, I said, Bud, I said, what were you feeling, or what were you praying about, or whatever? He says, Dad, I was thanking George for his courage. I was thanking George for his resilience. I was thanking George for his strength. He said, I was thanking George for being the one. My friends, you've had 4,094 people come together over the last 400 years to create you. Your life has value and purpose and meaning. You're not here by accident. You've got to go for it. Now you'll notice be the one is 3 words. I want you to focus on one of the words right now. The word is the one. One. Guess what? You're already the one. It's not become the one, it's be the one. You're it. The 4,094 people gave everything they had for you. If 6 generations from now, your great-granddaughter, your great-grandson come and kneel at your grave, you think you're going to show up? I'll tell you what I believe, and you're welcome to believe what you believe. I believe that our bodies die, but your soul lives on. You could feel this guy. And I believe that you have ancestors that are cheering you on. They're on your left hand and on your right hand. They're saying, you've got this. It's your great-grandma, your great-great-grandpa, your great-great-great-grandma. She's like, I gave it all for you. You've got it. You're the one. It's you. Be the one. Step into it. Have courage. Have faith. Be resilient. They're with us still, telling you, you can do it. We gave everything we had for you. My friends, be the one that lives a life. Be the one that writes a story that when those future generations of children look up, they say, it was her. It was him, and they're telling your story.